What's up, party people? This is Tarkus Jude Mossberg here from Facebook. Jude's Junk, Facebook comic book shop, YouTube channel. Tarkus Mossberg is my profile on Facebook. So, being successful in any business requires creativity. Creativity coupled with learning what your customers want. A lot of us that got in the comic book industry as a dealer or a collector, we wanted to buy and sell what we liked. And that's a problem when you're trying to have a business, sell a product or a service. I want to sell what I want to sell. Now, I get it, there's a place for that, but we make that the priority. And it actually stifles some creativity in the way that I'm going to share in this video. So there's a lot of people out there maybe getting back into comics, maybe getting into comics for the first time. Maybe they want to dabble in buying and selling. Maybe they want to dabble in buying and selling. They don't even know it because they're thinking, oh, I'm going to buy it and it's going to go up. And then later they're going to realize, how do you sell it? Well, you got to sell it. Now, by de facto, welcome. You're a dealer, and you're going to see how hard it is to get those fair market values that people talk about. So specifically with comics is what this video is about, but it could pertain to any new business. As someone who has an MBA, as someone who has an MBA in marketing and had my own business for about 25 years, retired at 40, if you want to do something different or new, everybody's going to poo-poo it and say you can't do that. Maybe not everybody, a lot of people. So being creative, you could just create stuff up out of the blue and try it, and that may or may not work. But I'm going to say couple your creativity with great marketing feedback. Don't be so quick to dismiss the trolls. If the trolls are saying something that's even a broken clock is right twice a day, right? So if a troll is saying something on your post, chalk it up as, hey, maybe the post isn't complete. Maybe it doesn't have enough information. Maybe it doesn't have the best pictures. Maybe my prices are way out of line and I have no idea what I'm doing. I better go pay for GPA. So listen to the trolls, but don't listen to them. So take what you can from an upset customer, a customer that backs out of a deal at the last minute because he doesn't trust you. He is going to tell you what you need to do to increase your business. If he thinks you're shady, then maybe the way you're doing your sales talk seems a little shady. Maybe you have commission breath and you're like, whoa, this isn't that difficult, Send me a PayPal goods and services invoice, I pay for it. I don't need the upsell. I don't need you to convince me. I'm the one that came to you. I like the book. We agreed on a price. That's it. I don't want to have a long conversation. When I go into Circle K and I get a soda, ring me up, I'll pay for it, and I'm out of here. I don't need to have a long conversation about this soda. Do you want to save 10% and sign up for this card? Oh, would you like to buy a Reese's peanut butter cup? The upsell. So I do some big deals. I just did a deal for $2,000, and it's not rocket science. If you're not used to dealing with big deals, then you might come off like, oh my God, what do I do? A $2,000 deal is no different than a $2,000 deal, a $2 deal, except the buyer might want a little bit more communication. They don't want to have to go search in PayPal goods and services for your tracking number. If you're going to sell a big book, put it in PayPal goods and services and put it on the link. Make their job easier. What can save them time? Listen to them. Every client is giving you feedback, and if you just take it as negative interaction and blow it off, you won't be able to learn from it. So I say that businesses need to be creative. How long did it take for Marvel and DC to recognize that clients want a blind bag? Forget about whether blind bag is a good way to collect or not. It's what clients want. Listen to your clients. So I know that a confused mind says no. So, oh, it's a $200 book. Oh, you got to add on $20 for shipping. Oh, I add on 3% for PayPal goods and services. Oh, you're going to go overseas. I'm going to add on a $10 handling fee. I don't want to do all the math. I live in Canada. Tell me what it's going to cost. 240 Canadian. Perfect. See, make it simple. So I do all my books as this is the price shipped. I make a universal price shipped across the country. Don't make your life difficult. Don't try to nickel and dime. Now, if you're dealing with $2 books, you do got a nickel and dime. And that's a rough business to be in. Maybe make a set a floor for you so you can do that $6 shipping for 3 raw books, 5 raw books anywhere in the country. You know, that $15. I do for books over 200, I do a $15 flat shipping fee anywhere in the country, and that includes signature. For under 200, I do a $5 flat fee because I can get bulk shipping at $5. And if I have to eat a couple bucks, big deal. It's a $100 book, $200 book. You know, if I eat $2, big deal. So I do a flat $5 shipping. I make it easy for the clients. This is the price shipped. Even in Facebook Marketplace, since most of them are not buying through the marketplace, I say this is the full price shipped PayPal goods and services. And you got to do that because a lot of the groups want you to do only goods and services. I also put in there what a cash payment might be. So they say you can't use Venmo. They say you can't use PayPal Friends and Family in some of the groups. Fine. Just say a cash discount is X. If the book is $200 shipped, the cash discount is $280. Now, a lot of people don't know what that is. So if they're interested, they'll ask you, what does cash mean? Oh, PayPal, Venmo, non-fee payment. People on Instagram use the term non-fee payment. So if you wanted to put in your marketplace ad and you wanted to share it to groups that only allow you to sell PayPal goods and services, you say cash discount, 10% off, whatever. And then people will come to you and say, what does that mean? And then you can share it with them. And then I always have both. I have a PayPal goods and services fee and a cash. The point is I make it clear. I make things clear. So if you're getting negative feedback, don't write it off as just a trolls. Now, a lot of times I say ignore the trolls. If they're calling you names, they're saying you're stupid, in those cases, most likely I ignore it, especially if I have confidence in what I'm doing. If I have confidence in what I'm doing is selling value. If you're just starting off and you don't know what is true marketing feedback versus what's just a BS troll you need to ignore, it becomes more difficult. But when you have confidence and you have sold your books and you have a proven system, then you can tell the trolls versus maybe a client didn't like something and wants to return it. Chalk that up. When you're offering stuff, hey, someone says, hey, can you do combined shipping? Boom. You better do combined shipping. That's what they want. If they say, hey, can you ship this overseas? No, I don't want to do it. That's fine. Someone else wants to do it. So if you ship overseas, make people know I ship overseas. I can play with customs with you. I can do FedEx. I can do UPS. So as someone struggling to maybe sell comic books as a part-time dealer, as just a collector who wants to raise some money to buy some more books, be creative, because the industry's changing. It's always been changing, and it always will continue to change. So I, for example, was watching auction houses daily. I did a whole bunch of research over a couple of years, and I found 30, and it might even be more now because there's so many garage sales that are like professional websites that are just for estate sales. But I watch 30 regularly auction houses, and I'm watching them, and I was just looking for deals over this last 3 years. I just got a tremendous amount of deals. You know, when people are afraid, get greedy. When they're greedy, be afraid. So right now, people are getting greedy, and so I'm afraid I'm going to buy less. Back in the last 3 years, I was buying a lot more. People were afraid. I was just buying things up because, and they kept going down. I kept buying, and they kept going down, and you wonder, am I doing the right thing? But now we're seeing things turn around. They're going back up again above 2020 prices. The big keys, some of them are even getting all-time highs, which is kind of crazy. But I was watching these 30 auction houses, and I've mentioned this before, so some of you might have heard this. I started seeing, man, that is an amazing book. If I had any more money, I would get that book for $500 because it's selling. Last sale was $1,000. And I was just like, I don't have any more money, or I can only buy so many books. Maybe I made a rule that I kind of avoid DC books, or I kind of avoid modern books, or I don't buy any 9.6s. So maybe I see a 9.6 1970s key, and it's going for 500, and I know it could sell for 1,000. That, and it's DC, Teen Titans or Flash. Those are not my books. Superman, not, Batman I love, but some of the other DC characters, I don't like seeing the book. So I made a rule, I only like, if I like it, I'll buy it. That way, if I'm stuck with it, I enjoy watching it. If I don't even like it on the wall, I'm going to probably not buy it unless it's a really hot book that I know I can move. So I'm watching all these auction houses, and I'm seeing all these great deals. And so I get this idea. I wonder if some of my clients might like some of these ideas. And so I put it out there. I said, hey, I'm watching these auction houses, and I'm going to call myself a broker, and I'm going to offer these books to people. And I started getting clients, and more clients. And I figured out what they wanted, and I figured out who they were. A lot of these people are busy, successful businesses, family. They don't have time to watch all the auctions. I know for me, before I started watching auctions, I couldn't keep up with 3 or 4, much less 30. So I had to do spreadsheets of all of them. I had to figure out how to use all of them. So I had to go in and buy and then make mistakes. So I had to go buy on all 30 auction houses and play the game. Sometimes it's a $50 bump to the next auction amount. Sometimes it's 100. Some of them have a 15-minute delay at the end. Some of them have a hard end. They all have these different rules, and you have to get in and learn it all. So I started making this offer to someone. People didn't come to me. This was a new service I wanted to offer, and I didn't know if it would work. I set it out there as a broker, and it's working. And I'm getting more clients, and what they do is, hey, they want a New Mutants 98. I tell them there's an auction tonight, and they say, I want it for $1,000 shipped. And I say, great. And I get it online, and I try to get it for that. And if I get it for them, they pay me that night for $1,000. I order it, ship it to me, pack it up, ship it to them, and I make sure there's enough profit margin in there for me to be able to do something like that. And I started getting more and more clients. What I wanted to warn people about in this video is, so I share that out there that I'm a broker. And I'm a broker, and these are the books that are going to be coming up for auction tonight. And I start sharing it out to different groups that I'm an admin in, other groups that are popular comic book groups. And I've gotten a lot of hate, like, oh, you must be a scammer. What is this? I've never heard of this before. This is obviously some kind of scammer. And I've already built up, I have a whole post of hundreds of references and referrals. People paying cash, people doing trades with me. Never had a negative thing. I take care of clients, and so they can go. I can say, if you're not sure, let me send you my references. I send them a link to my page, and it has all of them right there where you can just click and go talk to them, or you can see who you're friends with, blah blah blah. So I have the references, and if you don't have references, create a post on your page. If you don't have a page, create a free page. Create a post on your page where you write all your references down. Not necessarily what they say, but just their name. Hey, these key people can vouch for me. That way, if I want to do a trade with you, I can just look at that and click, oh, I know that guy, and I can click on him and I can send him a message. When you say, hey, this is my reference, I got to go look the guy up, Tom Smith. Okay, there's a million Tom Smiths. Which one? And it becomes this long ordeal. If you want me to trust you, make a post, put the names on there, and I can go say, oh, Clifford Little, right there. He's an admin in like 15 of my groups, so I know him. I'm going to go reach out and talk to him. So getting creative, coming up with new services by listening to your clients, and that listening is not just positive feedback, but negative feedback, or someone says, hey, do you offer this? No, I don't, but I can get it for you. No one ever does that. Oh, I don't have that book, but I can get it for you. You could do that. There's nothing wrong with you doing it. You have to build in enough profit margin for you to do it. You need to find out what they want to pay. And if you have a source for discounted books, or what I don't deal with is raw. There's a whole need out there for clients that want me to go out and buy raws for them, but I don't do that. So if you want to be a broker for raw books and you know where to get raw books at a great deal, become a broker for raw books. I'm sharing this with you because I don't want to deal with raw books. I just saw a great book up to Hulk #1, raw, 6.0, really high grade raw. And it was on a well-known auction site. And I have a client that just came to me and said, I want a Hulk 1.0. Well, he doesn't want a 6.0 raw, he wants it graded. But if you like to deal with raw, you could be helping your clients find raw books if you know where to get the good deals, and you could offer that service. Now, when I share that each night, that these are the books coming up for auction tonight, invariably I get people saying, this must be a scammer, this looks like a troll, blah, 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 blah. Now, for my regular business where I'm just buying and selling books, I've developed a pretty popular reputation. I do marketplace ads daily to 20, 30, if not more groups. But for whatever reason, when I share this brokerage service and I list here the books for sale, people don't understand the service, so they call it a scam. And that's okay. You can't let what other people think determine whether, if you have a valuable service and you believe in it strongly, go test it. If no one's paying you, then it may not be as valuable as you think. Maybe you need to make some tweaks to provide more value. Maybe you're not communicating well. I come across some clients that just don't communicate well, whether I'm buying or selling, and I'm like, I'm not going to do cash with this guy. Either he's a scammer or he doesn't know what he's doing. In either case, I don't want to take a chance. So I think I've gotten ripped off once in 5 years with paying cash, and I should have known that was a scam, and I've learned since then. If it seems wrong, it probably is. Trust your nose. So anyways, be creative, get marketing feedback, change the way you buy and sell. If you're just starting out, pay attention. What do clients need? What do they want? How are their needs changing? As a broker, I have paid access to GPA. So everyone says, hey, I want a Hulk 1. What should I pay for it? Well, here's GPA, last sale, here's 90-day sale. This is average. I add in tax and shipping because all those reported sales, someone paid on Heritage and they paid the tax in their state. And if they paid 10% in California or New York, then, but I only add 6% as an average low tax. So I tell them what the person actually paid so they can kind of get an idea. Okay, the average pay's been paid $20,000 for this Hulk. If I can get it for less than that, that's a good deal. And so if he can get it for $19,000, he is happy with that. Even though the last sale might have said $18,700. I mean, I haven't done the tax. What's 10% of $18,700? $1,800? Yeah. So $18,700 plus $1,800, you're way over 20. So if he can pay more than what the last reported sale is, but paid less than what the last person paid, that's what a big buyer wants to do. I want to buy it less than what everybody else is paying for it, and I can feel good about that purchase. So don't be scared to come up with new ways. Think about what Marvel and how slow Marvel was for the movies, providing us what we wanted. We didn't want a lot of that woke stuff. Maybe some people did, but the majority of us didn't, and they didn't listen to their client base. They either wanted to change their client base or they wanted to get a new client base, and they ended up alienating their old client base. And a lot of those businesses took too long to realize that. The writing on the wall from a numbers point of view has been there for a while. And you had that one CEO, Catherine, I think, and she got let go because she wasn't paying attention, and the people under her were not paying attention. So as a dealer, pay attention. Pay attention to what your clients want. Get creative. Offer new services. I just started offering financing one day. I hadn't done it before. I hadn't thought about it, but someone said, will you do it? When someone says, will you do it, and you haven't done it before, how can I do it? How can I do that at a high level, high service level, and be profitable? So I came up with a price for finance books. I figured out a system on how to trade books. I was really against trading books 5 years ago. Now I have a system. I know what I'm looking for. I know what I'm not looking for. And I'm happy to do trades. How do you trust the guy? There's a whole process on how do you trust a guy. But the point is, I didn't do trades. I was anti it. And now I'm very pro trades. And I do them a lot more, and I have clients that are thrilled about it, and we've done some really big trades, and I think we've both been really happy about it. But that was me being open-minded to someone asking for a service that I didn't offer, and then getting creative on how can I offer that to this guy. So anyways, I hope that's helped. Be creative, listen to your clients, and for the most part, ignore the trolls. Happy hunting, guys.